Today we are talking about how to help your player mentally prepare for tryouts. So again, it's tryout season. I'm having some players who are trying out for different teams, and I am was wanted to give them something and wanted to give parents something for them to listen to, or them to help encourage their player, to help them mentally be at the top of their game. So I want to say this real quick disclaimer. This is assuming that they did the work. They've trained technically and physically. I'll give you guys a quick story here. I'm gonna throw my younger sibling under the bus here, but he doesn't listen to our podcast, so it's cool. My younger brother decided to try out for the school soccer team. He was at a new school. He had transferred to another school, and he wanted to play on the school team. She's a goalie, and of course, if you know soccer goalies, you can do stuff on your own, but you really do need somebody helping you. And for a month, maybe 6 weeks before, I started reaching out to him like, hey, you can come out to our training sessions. I can do some stuff one-on-one with you. What do you want to do? And he's like, nope, I got it. I'm cool, man. It's all good. And so I was like, cool, sounds good. So I'm still asking. I'm still trying to encourage him. Still trying to ask him. 3 weeks out, same response. 2 weeks out, same response. 1 week out, same response. We get to about a day before the tryouts, and I finally see him out in our backyard training to get ready for tryouts, which is just consists of him punting the ball straight in the air and jumping up and catching it. And, I'm sure you can kind of guess of how those tryouts went. Didn't go too well. He didn't end up making the team, and that's because he didn't prepare. You're not going to just go out and prepare the day before if you haven't, like, you're not going to go out and perform at the highest level if you haven't been preparing. So yeah, this is assuming that your player has technically put in the work. They've put in the running. They've done all the physical activity that they need to do to help them to be at their very best physically and technically. But there's still some mentality pieces that I think coaches appreciate and that they're looking for. And this is something that you can share with your players. So hopefully your player isn't like my little brother in that situation, and that they've prepared physically. But now here is some mentality or mentally that they can do to make sure that they're on the top of their game. So number one, I want you to encourage them to make sure that they're visualizing before. This could be something that they do on the way to the tryouts, or they can even do this then maybe the night before. Maybe they write down what their goals are, but they also just spend 5-10 minutes going through what they think the tryouts may be like, right? What is it going to look like, and what are they going to look like if they are playing in this, how they're doing in this tryout situation. Are they playing with confidence? Are they connecting their passes if they're a center mid? If they're a forward, are they seeing themselves lose their mark and get on the end of crosses? If they're a defender, do they see themselves dominating the game, connecting passes, shutting down one-on-one opportunities, crosses? Goalie, same thing, right? Have them spend some time just visualizing themselves playing confidently. And I think that will do a couple things. It will help them first settle their nerves going into that. But number two, again, and I've talked about this in the past, your body really can't tell the difference between, or your mind can't really tell the difference between your body actually physically doing that activity and your mind visualizing it and having these reels or these movies in their head of them doing the activity. So go ahead, encourage them to visualize, to spend some time just going over what they want to see and how they want to play. Number two, this is something that, and actually number two and number three are two things that I try to emphasize to players in my program, but also it's something that every player can do, but not every player chooses to do. So number two, communicate. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to act like you're the captain, but communicate to your teammates. Talk to them before. If you're playing a scrimmage, if you're a center back, make sure you understand who's on your back line. Talk to your goalie. Get in the habit and try to integrate yourself so that you are not feeling like like you're an outsider trying to jump in, but you're somebody who said, I could fit in, I could play here, and I'm going to be a valuable member of this team. And again, not everybody chooses to communicate. Some people like kind of are shy, and some people are kind of more reserved and more to themselves. And again, I understand that, but you don't have to be who you are off the field, on the field. On the field, I was a much more louder, more boisterous, more commanding presence than I am off the field. And that's just my personality. But on the field, I knew this is what I needed to be able to help my team, how I could help my team and elevate my team and contribute to the team. And that's the same thing I would say to your player. You know, how can they help the team? How is your communication going to help the team? So encourage your player to talk and be confident and ask their teammates, okay, do you want that ball in behind or do you want it to your feet? Right? Are you right footed or are you left footed? Right? All these different things. It's very simple, but not everybody chooses to do that. Number 3, and this is super important, and it's something I tell to my players literally every single session, which is make sure they have effort, focus, and attitude in the right place. So again, everybody will have different level of energy or different stamina, but not everybody chooses to give 100% effort, right? Same thing with focus. People's focus will drift. They'll go all over the place, and they will have differing levels of focus when it comes to when the coaches are talking, or even doing even attention to detail when they're doing a drill. Give them give your coach, the coach who's you're trying out with, give them your undivided attention and focus. Right? Make sure they have focusing on the task at hand. Don't be thinking about what you're going to be doing after, or don't be thinking about who you're gonna be hanging out with, or don't even focus on the homework that you have to get done. Focus on what you're doing while you're doing it. And then finally, attitude. Don't be one of those players, I'm better than all these players out here. I don't need to work that hard. Or I was on the team last year. I'm about to use a quote. Your attitude determines your latitude. It's not a good look, and everybody's going to end up actually looking down at you. But if you're somebody who is, okay, I'm going to be a hard worker. I'm going to make sure that I'm working hard. I'm going to give the right energy. I'm going to have the right body language when I'm out there, and I'm going to encourage others. Then you as a player are going to improve. So if you're a parent, you're talking to them, make sure that they have those 3 things: the right effort, right focus, and the right attitude. And then number 4, what I would tell you is help them to have a plan if they make a mistake or if something happens that's unexpected. So I'll give you an example. For me, whenever I would have a bad game or have a bad play in a game, it was easy for me to start spiraling out and just kind of lose confidence in myself. And not until really a coach told me in college saying, like, you need to figure out a way to get yourself back into the game. Like, you can't just crumble in the middle of the game because we need you. And so one of the things that he said was, he was playing in a collegiate game. It was his first collegiate game, and he couldn't do anything. Like, it was like any passes he was making, taking bad first touches, shooting, defending, everything was doing bad. And it wasn't until the coach pretty much told him, hey, just connect one pass. And he told my coach, like, connect one pass. That's all you need to do. Get yourself back in the game. And that's the same thing I would tell your player. Have a plan just in case something bad happens, that they're not going to crumble and not just start going into, oh, I made a mistake. Now the coach is not going to want me. No, have a plan. When they make a mistake, they can bounce back from it. For me, I realized, like, it was winning headers or it was making the crunching tackle that gave me confidence to say, okay, I belong here. I can hang with them. Even if I made a couple of mistakes here, I can still hang with this level and this caliber of players. So encourage your player to know what they need to do to be able to get themselves back into the game. Maybe it's something that they say, maybe it's a mantra, maybe it's something that they do. It's something that allows them to get themselves back into the game. And then finally, to help mentally prepare is help them to see feedback as feedback. So you may make this team awesome. I would say congratulations, great job. I hope you have, this is another step in your development as a player. But let's say you get feedback of, we're not going to take you on this team, or we don't think you're at to this level, or we're going to go in a different direction. In the end, whatever the feedback is, whether it's good and positive or whether it's negative, it's on your player to see it as feedback and to try to be able to take it and go from it. And whatever the coach says, it really shouldn't change your attitude, it shouldn't change your work rate, it shouldn't change what it is that you're doing. So if you're a parent and you're talking to your player, help them to see, how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I change, maybe tweak what I do to help me prepare for the next step in my development? And if I made the team, awesome. If I didn't make the team, okay, how can I continue to grow and how can I continue to keep getting better through this? This is the perfect time to talk about my mindset guide, the 5 resources your player needs to be able to up their game. And these are the resources that I use in my program. So if you want a download to my free off the field resource guide, go ahead and check it out at www.tfsoccertraining.com/mindset. Go ahead, it'll be in the description box below. But go ahead and download that because that's going to help your player grow their mindset. Okay, so just wanted to conclude and reiterate what it is I talked about today. So again, number 1, encourage your player to visualize. Have them have a little plan to visualize themselves on the way to training. Number 2, make sure that they communicate, talk to your teammates, introduce yourself to the coaches. All you need to do is make sure that they need to know that the coaches need to know that you're invested in this team and you're going to integrate yourself into what the team is doing. Number 3, make sure their effort, their focus and attitude is in the right place. Make sure they give their entire best. Make sure that they're focused on the task at hand, not focused on other things. And number 3, make sure their attitude is one that they're going to be able to help and contribute to this team. Number 4 is have a plan. Help them to have a plan if they make a mistake. Ask them, what are you going to do if you make a mistake? Or what are you going to do if you don't make this team? What is your response going to be? Help them to have a plan. And then finally, help them to see feedback as feedback. They don't need to internalize it. They don't need to say, they don't need to 3, 2, 1. Help them to see feedback as feedback that's going to be able to either help them or it's going to be something for them to learn from. So